So I just want to this leader here in my can you imagine? I mean, she has been a businesswoman for, I don't know how many years. When I met her, she already had her own business. She's got an MBA in finance. She's a great marketer, but her marketing. Now you think about somebody that markets and they make, they make six figures marketing, and that's just their money that they invest because she's a great investor. When I want to know stuff about investing, I just call her and ask. So you're talking about someone that has a great treasure of knowledge and experience and success. So why don't we all just welcome Miss Angela Williams, CEO Infinity here at MyEcon. She's been a CEO so long, I don't remember when she got promoted. Okay. So Angela, we're glad to have you here tonight. Just say hello to everybody and we'll get this
Hello.
party started.
Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'm so excited to be here tonight. I love this setup that we are doing, and I hope that I enlighten somebody out there that's watching because MyEcon is the best company on earth. And I always tell people that this was the last network marketing company for me, and I meant that. So I'm ready when you are, Ivy.
All right. Well, we're glad to have you here tonight. I can tell you, I tell her this all the time. I appreciate her choosing my econ because that's not something that's, a person that's already successful, when they choose you, that's very important. And I also appreciate her leadership in my econ because she's always willing to come on and help with training, help with teaching, and so I just appreciate that, and I just want to say that publicly. So we're ready to get started. So the first big question, man, this is a big one that I want to ask her tonight. And you guys can put them in the chat and maybe we'll get June or somebody to figure out how we're going to do this at the end. Is what was your first big win in my econ and how did that make you feel? The first big thing that happened to you in my econ.
Well, I had a lot of little wins. I think my big win, I would have to say Infinity. Hitting
Okay.
Infinity, I still to this day cannot put into words how that accomplishment, how much it meant to me, because back then, to be an Infinity, you had to have 600 people. So to get 600 people to catch on to your vision, because I was all about telling people, I'm going to show you how to make more money. I'm going to show you how to manage it and I'm going to show you how to multiply it. And we're going to focus on building generational wealth for our children's children. That was my thing. And I said that we needed to have more entrepreneurs. So when I was out meeting people, my excitement was attractive to them. And so to get everybody to get on the same page, and when I tell you we was everywhere. Like we were so sold on the idea of generational wealth that we were in libraries. I told people, bring your guests to my shop because I was a business owner and I had a storefront and I told my people, my first people, just bring a guest. I'll do the presentation. You ain't even gotta talk. Just bring people. Next thing you know, I want to say every hour on the hour, somebody was coming through my storefront. And I was like, oh, this serious. And then I started having little meetups at my store. And then my store got too little. And I said, okay, let's go to the library. And we put flyers everywhere. When I tell you it was grassroots. We went everywhere. We went to libraries. We did hotels. We was in everybody's house. Like people will call me and be like, you know what? I'm having a little family reunion. I got some people over here. Could you come to the barbecue? You know what? Angie showed up. I came to that barbecue and we'll just talk. And of the 600 people, I want to say 70% of those people were right here in Chicago.
Okay. Okay.
So when we moved, and it was just we were just on
Yep. That's what it
fire.
was.
We really was on fire. And so I think being an infinity and then producing other infinities, there's no other feeling like that. It's no other feeling. When I actually joined my econ, the very first thing that I did outside of reading um, the procedures manual, like we had this manual, I downloaded the manual and I printed it out and I made me a little binder and I read the whole binder so that I could understand the strategies. And then I went straight to the compensation plan and I said, okay, this is my last network marketing company. So what was the top position? At the time, it was Infinity. And I just said, okay, I want to get to the top. And then I made a decision. I just decided that regardless of what was happening in my life, whatever was going on, the ups and downs, I am going to discipline myself. I'm going to work my business every single day and I'm going to get to the top and I'm going to get that top position. And I did.
All right. Hey, that's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if anybody out there can relate to that, you made a decision, then give me some fireballs down in the chat box there because I can tell you, I remember that. That was exciting. And and when you get a real builder on your team, they don't come every day, but when you get one, it pushes everybody up, pushes the whole company up you know. Um, and a lot of people always say this, and it's true, that Angela was the first woman CEO in my econ, but I don't say that. She was the first great CEO in my econ. Okay, so let's get it straight, right? We ain't got to put that thing in no category. She compete, don't care what gender is. That's great, Angela. So I appreciate that. And well, so okay, you joined, you decided to do this. So here's the question, because there's people that's going to see this, and what made you decide to choose this opportunity over? I mean, there's all kind of opportunities out there. I mean, what made you decide to choose the My Econ opportunity over whatever else you had seen?
Well, I felt that since I had a bachelor's in finance and I had a master's in business and accounting, when I looked for a network opportunity, I wanted something that was already in line with what I was already doing.
Okay.
So I'm everything money. And so it just made sense. And I felt like financial literacy is the number one tool that was needed in our community. And, even if you just look at the statistics, as an African American, our buying power is $2 trillion, close to $2 trillion. But guess what? What? Our net worth is like less than 44,000. So what that means is that we really good at spending money, but we ain't good at owning nothing. And so my econ kind of puts your money in your face and it shifts your mindset from being a consumer to being an investor. Because I remember in my econ, Mr. Stokes always talking about owning a piece of America. So I like what my econ was all about. Now, I was introduced to my econ. I happened to be on Facebook and I saw Valerie Ferguson. I don't even know how Valerie Ferguson hit my friends list, but she was on there and she had made a video saying that she added an extra $600 back to her paycheck using the income shifting strategy. That caught my attention. So I just watched her video and she was just so excited. And it was a video and she connected the video with said and all that. And I just saw all this excitement and I saw all these people who look just like me talking about money. When the last time you've been around a bunch of people that talk about money? We don't talk about how money works in our community. So it was like a breath of fresh air. And so because I was a business owner, I didn't have a W-4. So I could not income shift from that perspective, but I had a whole lot of customers who were employees who had W-4s. And I know that they needed to know this information. And so as a business owner, I was saying to myself, well, I like that they're talking about tax write-offs. Because as a business owner, some of the high level tax write offs, but you don't know everything. And so once I got into my econ, and you're able to read through those tax guides, you're like, wait a minute, I'm leaving a whole lot of money on the table. And as a business owner, I never thought to hire my son into my business. I wasn't thinking about that. But when I came into my econ, I learned that, so once I found out that they was teaching people about small business write-offs, I was like, ding, ding, ding. Okay. I want to be in this group. I like what they were talking about. And then also as a business owner, I was using Excel to keep up with my bookkeeping. And so when I found out that there is a cash flow manager tool that made perfect sense for a business owner. I'm like, okay, I can track my income, I can track my expenses, I can upload my receipts so I don't have to have all this paperwork that I was storing in my file cabinet. So I said the cash flow manager makes perfect sense for anybody who have a business, especially if it's a home-based business, direct sale business, network marketing business. They still need the tools because a lot of them don't get their write-offs because they do not have great record keeping. And since our cash flow manager gives us a annual report at the end of the year, it makes it easy for your tax preparer to do your taxes. So that was a win-win for me. And then the most important thing was when I said this is going to be my last opportunity, the big thing with me is residual income. I wanted to be able to make passive income where I can do all the work at the beginning and I'll continue to get paid over and over and over and over again. That's what I wanted. So when I joined my account, the reason why I wanted to get to infinity is because I wanted to lock in the residuals. You know,
Excellent.
if you ain't trying to get residuals, your team is an asset as well. So just like you buying land and you buying property, your business is an asset. Your team is an asset. Our asset just happen to be people. And as you teach them and you teach them how to get their finances in order, you're going to be blessed in the same way because you're going to be getting residuals and you're going to get them every month. So what I wanted to do is most self-employed people, we don't get 401k matches. So we have to be proactive in building our own retirement accounts. So because I've been self-employed since 2008, so I was already investing in my own SIP IRA and things like that, but I wanted a vehicle where I could build it and I could take the residuals and put some of the residuals into my retirement account because I wanted to multiply my money faster and I wanted to use other people's money to do it. So because of that, my account has done just that for me. So as a business owner, that's why I joined.
All right. Well, hey, I think that is fantastic. And I know the answer to this, but I want you to just tell us how many years have you been getting a residual check from my econ every single month? Can you tell us that?
I don't even know how long I've been in my account. I don't think it's been 10 years. I think it's been 7. But I have received my monthly residual every month since I've been in my account.
Okay.
I got checks every Friday since I've been in my econ. So
Okay.
think about that.
Right. That's a long time.
Hmm.
7 years, 10 years. It's been a long time, you know.
Yeah.
And I always get the times mixed up because post COVID, during COVID, and I miss 18 months. I always miss a couple years. So,
And
that
even during COVID, out them residuals is like clockwork.
yep,
They can go up or they can go down, but they ain't never stopped.
right.
And
Absolutely.
so that's your money, and you take that money and you multiply it.
Absolutely. I tell you that's amazing. And I just love for people to I think about it this way is that, most people when they get paid in marketing, they just only think about what they got paid when they did the work.
Hmm.
But, if you got somebody on your team and they're active, then, hey, and you put them in the business or somebody put them in, you get paid 10 years. See, people got to think about it different because residual income, that's where the wealth is. So that's just amazing. So I got a couple more questions for you here. And so we found out, that what your first big win was. We found out, why you joined, and I'm glad you made that decision. But now what I want to do is give us one strategy that's really worked great for you to help you build your team, not just your personal, but build, because you're a great leader, you're a great team. So give us something that you did that really helped you grow your business.
I think it was putting together a system in general. So, again, when my vision was I want to get to the top of the company, you can't get to the top of the company if you don't have a system in place. And so I had a system that I put together for building my team so we can expand fast. And then I had a system in place for being able to get the fastest success stories financially. And so when we were building, I used the power of five concept. Anybody who know me, I always talk about the power of five. And the power of five was just simple. It was everybody is going to attract five new business partners. And we're just going to teach them to do the same thing. Okay. So that's what I did. We worked the power of five. And I started by getting five business partners. And then with those five business partners, I put them into the next system. And so the next system was the personal finance system. We spent a lot of time on personal finance because I believe that success sells. And so when they came in, I had like a step by step blueprint where the first thing we did, we spent a lot of time on money management. Where is your money going and who got your money? That was the first question. And I gave them tools to be able to find out. And then we talked about their habits because if you start looking at where your money going, you'll realize that you got some bad habits. And so it was a mindset shift that they had to go through. And then we talked about their debt. We went through and I gave them different strategies that they can use to pay off their debt. And then we went into saving, building the emergency funds, basically following the strategies that's in the training manual. It's just that I had personal finance workshops specifically for that. And then we got into building your credit, fixing and building your credit. And then I made sure everybody watched the one video that Mr. Stokes did where he talked about the different asset classes. Like before you could talk about investing, you should know different asset vehicles where your money can be parked. And so we made sure that we watched that video so people know the difference between CDs and money market accounts, index funds and ETFs and things like that. So once they learned that terminology, then I taught a stock investing class so that they knew what to look for when you're thinking about investing in stocks. And see, Mr. Stokes had already taught us how to, look at Fidelity, look at Vanguard to be able to see what index funds could give you double digit returns. So we focused on funds that gave us double digit returns even in a recession. So if that fund did not produce that, we didn't invest in that. So everybody kind of had a system, and I got something real good that's coming. That's coming. But once we did that, because I felt like if you can get people focused on their personal finances, they'll get excited about it. And when they see everybody else working on their finances, it creates a feeling of I don't want to miss out because I see everybody else. I'm seeing people paying off their cars. I'm seeing people with 12 months of their living expenses saved. They seeing people who opening it up custodial investment accounts for their kids and putting stocks in it. So when people are seeing that, they want to do that too. And so that's what I focused a lot on personal finance. And I believe you inspect what you expect. And what I mean by that is I recognize and reward people who do just that. And so most people who know me on social media, I'm always going to blast anybody who hit one of those success goals. They paid off some debt. We got tons of people who own their cars. We got people who got deeds to their houses because they were able to pay it off. We got people who were able to grow their investment accounts by $100,000 or more. We got people in the 700 and the 800 credit score. And so when you put that on social media, you're going to become a magnet. So even if you somebody that feel like you maybe not a people person or you're not good talking about my economy people, work on your personal finances and just share your journey on social media. And when you do that, people are going to ask you what you're doing. And so it was easy for people to get their five by me just focusing on that strategy. And then I gave them a marketing strategy too. So I kind of like tied it all together and then recognized them. So what ended up happening is by us working on power of five, when you get five people and they get five people, now you got 25 new people. Those 25 people go out and get their five. Now you got 125 people. That third leg down there, guess what? When they start getting their five, that's going to put you over 600. So remember, I told you to be infinity, you had to be over 600 back then. So we use that power of five to get there. And then that same strategy was used for me to promote five female infinities out of that, so that's the system. I had a way for everybody to play. And your success story, your personal, I mean, we sell money. That's what we do. We sell money. We show people how to get money and how to multiply their money. So it's easy if you give people some type of success story within their own personal finances. They're gonna be sold, they're gonna be locked in forever.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I can tell you, that's a great answer, and all of you that can relate to that, hey, give me some more. Give me some more fireballs, some 100% down there. But I'm going to tell you what impressed me. I mean, I've been marketing for 45 years, so I know a good marketer. I know a good leader when I see one, right? And I'm going to tell you that, I mean, and I watched her even do this during COVID. I mean, and her team just kept on growing because it didn't stop at 600, is that she edified everybody. I mean, she would put them out there on Facebook. Hey, Mary Smith just raised your credit score, and she had a little template that she put that in, and it was a team atmosphere, and everybody was focusing on their finances. Now I'm gonna tell you another part that she didn't tell you. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. She didn't tell you this. Okay, everybody in my econ tell you Angela don't play. Don't be on her team whining about why you can't get it done. Everybody in my econ tell you Angela don't play with that, right? So she love on you, she edify you, motivate you, teach you, but you got to win. And the whole team was pulling everybody to win. And that's what we need a good dose of today. Because I'm going to tell you, we're going to do more in the next 5 years than we did in the last 20 years. But we got to get this right up here. And there's thousands and thousands and thousands of my econ folks standing around, and they're little, they don't know whether the rain stopping them from growing or the president or themselves. But I can tell you it's themselves. And when we get that fire, then we're going to grow our finances, right? The marketplace is bigger, everything is better. So, I tell you, Angela, that's just amazing to me. And I watched that, and that impressed me with her level of leadership. Okay, so we got two more questions. Okay, then we'll do a couple questions and answers. So June, maybe you and John, if y'all see some good questions coming out there, but we're gonna do two more. We're gonna do one more good question here. Okay, and so now I know you do a lot of traveling and all that kind of stuff. Just share with us just one little thing that a financial win that you've experienced since you've been my econ that you're happy about or proud of or something that you've, and then we're going to open up for a few questions from the group out there.
I think I mean I was already debt free when I came into my econ. My credit score was already over 750 when I came into my econ. Like I said, my major focus with my econ is that residual check. I needed that was like clockwork, and I wanted to be able, yes, I want to take some of that money, and I like to travel. Obviously, yes, I like to take some of that money. I like bags, I like all that stuff. Okay, everybody know that. But everybody also know I'm a day trader. So I have multiple ways to make money. And obviously everybody know I teach my team too to day trade. We get money. We get it in all type of multiple ways and within my econ. But I think the biggest win is the residuals. I've been able to take about $250,000 from residuals and put it straight into an investment account. Can you imagine somebody give you $200,000 to put it into your 401k?
Absolutely.
Do you know where you could be?
Absolutely.
And my most of my stock holdings was like heavy tech. I was heavy tech, I was heavy in the Microsofts and the Nvidias. I was in everything. So when tech stock took off, the portfolio did too. So if you got $200,000 and you could just dump it in the markets, do you know how early you can retire? The one thing about Mr. Stokes is he told us that retirement is not an age, it's a number. And so now my number is sitting at 1.6 million. And so many people have made up in their mind that they giving up, that they just gonna work till they die. You don't have to do that. Build your MyEcon business. It's the best asset that you got. Take those residuals. If you cash flowing your W-4, take that money, take your residuals, invest it. Stop blowing the money. You can take some of that money and pay off debt, but put a lot of it in your investment account. I promise you, especially for those people, I'm 52 years old. Okay. But for some people that's out there that's making good residuals, and you might be in your 20s, if you took your residual check and you might be living off some of it, but if you invest, think about if you invest in $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 every single month into an investment account, in 20 years, you might have $30 million. And that's what I want to get to, the point where I'm just sitting still and my well, I don't really work because I ain't been. I don't work for nobody. I ain't had no job since 2008, so I don't really work. My MyEcon business don't take a lot of time. So I don't really work. So I'm in retirement now. But there is gonna come a time where I'm just gonna disappear. Y'all ain't gonna see me no more. But I'm gonna live off of
We're
that
gonna
money.
find you.
No, y'all ain't gonna find me. I'm gonna be on the beach somewhere. No phone, no internet, no nothing. But I can't tell y'all, use this business to get what you want so that you have investments. Some of my people now are getting into real estate investing. A lot of my people launched additional dream businesses, all from using their MyEcon cash flow. So we didn't blow our money, we directed that money. So if you do it too, I promise you MyEcon will change your life. You should not financially be in the same place that you was last year with all this information. You got to have a hustle about you. You got to have a drive about you. You already know that AI technology is coming. In about 10 years, it's going to be so many of you who got jobs that ain't going to have no job. And so you're going to have to figure out how to replace your income. And it cannot be from a job. So make your MyEcon business work for you. All you talking about is money. How hard it is to talk about money. Everybody want it. You don't have to beg nobody to want more of their money. That's on them. But you can provide them the tools. And that's what MyEcon is for.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. I had another question, but I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
tell you that was absolutely perfect. And I'm going to ask my other question. I'm going to ask my last question. But that was perfect because take care of your money, invest your money. You're going to be happy. But I love that other part. She said you got to have a little hustle about you. You
Mm-hmm.
got to have a little drive about you. I mean, if you got people around you complaining, tell them to just be quiet or go away or do something.
Mm-hmm.
Look, the cavalry is not coming. Nobody's going to come save us. Nobody's going to come save any of us financially. We got to rescue ourselves. But we've been empowered to do that. We were empowered to do that by the creator of all creation. Deuteronomy 8 and 18, God says, I give you power to gain wealth. Didn't say whether you was tall or short, any of that. It says, I give you power to gain wealth. So we've been empowered to do it. So the last question, and then you guys can ask yours. Okay. when you joined my econ, I think it was 2017, maybe 8 years ago.
Okay. Okay.
Um, you know, maybe, yeah, about that time. And you see the marketplace today, and you see the marketplace, and you remember the marketplace when you joined in 2017 or so, 2018, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that the opportunity to build a financial education slash cash flow business is bigger today or smaller today than it was the day you joined? Is the opportunity bigger or is the opportunity small?
I think the opportunity is bigger. And
Okay.
and and the only reason why I say that is, there's so many different social media platforms. So there's tons of people that is out there. If you just check the social media climate, most people struggling. They struggling financially, and you see it all day on social media. I think I feel like AI, the displacement of people with AI is not talked about enough. And I believe that most people are not ready for it because they do not believe that it is going to happen. You cannot stop it. It's over. Okay. So they're using AI in every industry that there is. So eventually you're gonna they was in the grocery stores. We got the driverless cars. Okay. Now they're in the hospitals. They doing driverless semis now. They're putting the robots in the hospitals. Okay. The next thing is going to be the school system. They already, I mean, just you think about now you see so many in the pharmaceutical industry. Now people can get medicines and talk to a doctor straight through the computer. People ain't is not even going to their doctors anymore, and they're going to be replaced. And so there's going to be a shift in the next 10 years to where there's going to be a lot of hurt people. So I say that is you people don't realize that they're running out of time. You're really running out of time. But the market is wide open because there's going to be so many people that need you. So many people need this information. So many people need to get their house in order financially. It ain't no more time to play. It ain't no more time to play. It's not going to be no more PPP loans. It's so the government, our president, things are shifting. Okay, and there is a shift that's going to happen, and there's so I cannot stress enough how many people are going to lose their jobs. And when you lose your jobs, guess what? You lose your house. There isn't going to be any rescue. And so there's going to be two classes in America. You're either going to be rich or you're going to be poor, but it's not going to be a middle class. So in 10 years, it's going to shift, and you're going to see it. So you need to be thinking about yourself. You need to stop blowing your money. You need to be stashing. You need to get your crypto. You need to be getting your gold. You need to get your stocks. You need to play the markets. Do what you got to do to get your money. At the same time, teach your children, because your children, guess what? If the job's gone, guess what? Your kids ain't gonna have no jobs either. And it's the kids that's supposed to be funding Social Security. Well, the kids ain't working. They ain't got no jobs. If you've been looking at your Social Security statement, I know I looked at mine. They already told me we're only going to be able to pay you out about 69, 70% of your Social Security. So if people think they just gonna sit back, oh, I'm just gonna get my Social Security, that Social Security ain't gonna pay you nothing. It ain't gonna pay you nothing. So what you got going on? Baby boomers are retiring. So a lot of money eventually is going to come out the stock market because what? Baby boomers are going to retire, and they need to do what? They need to withdraw from them 401k so that they can live. So there's a shift that's happening. We don't have time to play. You have to get serious. Every last one of you are financial literacy coaches. You can change people's lives. You can break these generational curses. We do not have to operate in the space of lack. We don't have to be at the bottom. There's no reason for us to have $2 trillion and we don't own nothing. That don't make sense. It don't make sense. So at some point, you got to be tired of playing. I don't know about you, but I got tired of playing when I joined my econ, and I ain't started playing back. Okay, so we got to get serious. Start running now. You finna see my team out there. You finna see us out there. You can watch. I can show you how it's done. But I suggest you get into action so that you can run with us because I'm telling you, you're going to love them residual checks. You're going to love to have $100,000, $200,000 sitting in emergency funds just in case something happened. You're going to love to have accounts where you got your play money because we want to be able to travel. We want to live our life. We want to have fun, but at the same time, when you leave this earth, you want to leave a financial legacy for your children outside of insurance. It should be insurance. It should be paid off homes, paid off cars, a whole lot of different things. So we the change we've been looking for. We just got to change and do the work.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, let's give Miss Angela a big round of applause. And in the chat box there, send us some great messages. That's fantastic. That's amazing. And so the opportunity is probably 10 times bigger now than it was when we started. It's $1 trillion opportunity now. You know, I can tell you, I'll let you guys in on a little thought process that I had with myself over a while was that, you know, I kind of like want to retire a little bit, but I can't because the market is too big, too many people need help, and I didn't just do this for me. So and so I'm starting back to travel a little bit. Miss Stokes is looking at me side eye like, but then the other hand, she's like, yeah, you got to get out there, sweetheart, and help him. That's what she calls me. And we got to go get this done. See, we can build our own economy. You can build your own economy, you know? And so, Angela, we just congratulate you on your great success. And we appreciate you for coming to share that success with us tonight. And here's the thing for all of you out there, I'm not going to do a presentation tonight. Angela already did one. In my econ, we're going to help you increase your cash flow, grow your finances, get debt free, build investments. You can get started with all of that. Just get back with the person that invited you. They'll give you some options that you can choose. You can get started for less than $50 to start growing your business and start making money and growing your cash flow immediately. So, Angela, we appreciate you joining us tonight. That was an amazing interview, and I'm sure you touched a lot of people because I got remotivated. I got re-excited. So of course, I just love that. So thank all of you for coming tonight. And guess what? We'll be back on Monday night, and we'll be doing a full My Econ presentation on Monday night. And then, of course, we'll be back next Wednesday. So just watch Facebook and just keep cheering Angela on and her team. She's got some great leaders. And in the coming weeks, you're going to meet some of her team members that she trained and developed. So thank you guys and ladies. Good night.